Welcome to Aries season. I'm going to do a kiss on this. I keep it simple, sweet. That's what I'm going to do. My voice went on vacation and it's just gotten back and I'm really excited. I still don't know where it's gone and I want to hear all about it. So, we're going to keep this short and simple today, but I am back. Last recording was about the full moon and there was an eclipse during the season of Pisces. And now we're moving into an Aries new moon's partial solar eclipse. So I'm just going to go ahead and go over what that means and um, whoever this is meant to reach, it will reach. And however it's meant to reach them, it will reach them. So here we go. We're in the season of Aries. Aries rules the child of the zodiac. It's the childlike energy. It's pure. It's the beginning. It's about trailing trailing blazes, blaze trailing. It's about, it's a fiery energy. It's young and it's about new beginnings. And it happens in the springtime over where I live. And we have that type of energy happening on an egoic level. And the ego has to do with the parts of ourselves that decide how to handle things and how to present ourselves in the world according to how we handle things. So we have that season happening. And that means that the earth is in Libra, and Libra is an energy of balance, it's represented by a woman holding two scales and how she is trying to balance them. This woman is often called Lady Justice. So it's about looking at fairness and relation. So the earth is going through this process of looking at relationships and relations being harmonious and how relationships can be is the word philanthropic? I'm having a hard time finding the word, but how relationships can be most fortuitous in the most harmonious way. That's where the earth is at right now. And then we have the ego that is happening while the earth is in in Libra. We have the ego of the humans here, us humans, in Aries, which is very much childlike. So we have that those opposites of child and older kind of mothering kind of energy. When we think about that, Libra can be kind of an intellectual type of mothering energy in some ways, and all about fairness and compromise. So we have that going on. Mercury in retrograde. So Mercury rules the mind, and retrogrades are a time of slowing down and reviewing. And we review for the purpose of moving on. So it's kind of like when you used to be in school and you would come back to school and you're like, okay, it's time for algebra 2, but first we're going to review algebra 1. And you do that every year. And so it's like, not every year you're not going to be reviewing multiplication and subtraction and addition. Each year you'll be reviewing something a little more advanced as you progress. Well, right now, we are reviewing something as if we're brand new at it. And those of us who haven't come to accept some of the things that others of us have come to accept, which is around victim and old wisdom energy. There's during that partial solar eclipse, there's going to be more people coming to realize that in themselves. And it's okay to, a lot of times, when people have been duped, they don't want to come to terms with that. And they'll resist it because we tend to think of things in this false dichotomous structure that is about win or lose. And if you admit that you are wrong, you are a loser. And like, that's not really the way things work in the world. That's just a game. That's a game for entertainment. That's not real life. So, yeah. So um, partial solar eclipse, people are going to be like, oh, wait a minute. I was supposed to have this and I don't have that. So they're going to feel a little impetuous and a little impulsive about it, but it's going to be slower than they would normally feel during Aries energy. Then we have the heart. So that was the mind, the Mercury, which rules communication, and that being in Aries, which represents being a beginner at things. And then we have Venus, which is the heart. And we have that in retrograde, which also has to do with slowing down and reevaluating. What are we slowing down and reevaluating? Matters of the heart through the lens of Pisces. And Pisces, so Aries is the baby energy, Pisces is the old wise one energy. So here we also have that again, kind of like Aries Sun season and Earth being in Libra. Those are opposite type energies. We have young and old. So we have this again, this happening again. And there's a pause and a review and a slowdown of the young energy, old energy. And interesting. Um, the Pisces energy. So I don't know how your Pisces season went. How did it go for you last month when you were in Pisces season? For me, it was pretty intense. We had our Mother Earth had a Mother Earth has fires and things happening all the time, all over it. But this was near me at a nuclear power plant. There was a battery storage site that caught on fire. And so a lot of people in my town got sick. And I got sick too. And I didn't know that that's what it was. But that's what happened. I don't really like watch the news a lot, but news still makes its way to me. So, yeah, there's a lot happening around people having the same symptoms from that. And it was respiratory. And so that's like part of where my voice went on when it went on vacation. So, what was my point? My point was, oh, um, hmm, well, moving on. Maybe I'll get the. Oh, during the Pisces season, people were coming to terms with ways that they have felt victimized. I got full on sick, and I'm going to tell you something. Um, when I'm sick, and I don't know, maybe it's like this for most people, but I'm just like a baby, and I'm like, mama, like I want nurturing, mothering kind of energy, whether that's being allowed to give that to myself or anybody that's near me needs to like have that kind of energy because I'm not going to be able to tolerate anything more than that. And it's interesting too when you think about Pisces has to do with surrender and self-sacrifice. My heart was not in a place to self-sacrifice. I was like, I'm sick. I need, peel me a grape already. Like, treat me like royalty. I am sick, and I don't ask for this often. Even that sounds victimy, but yeah. So um other people, these degrees that a lot of the planets are on right now are really high degrees, and high degrees have to do with the outer world, and the middle degrees have to do with the community and society, and then the lower degrees, when planets are at lower degrees, it has to do with us individually. So I know that on a worldwide scale, people are like feeling like they didn't get theirs and they want to get theirs. They want fairness. Like people are looking at this worldwide. Um, so as they're looking at this worldwide, it doesn't just stop once they got out of Pisces season and entered Aries. They're not just free all of a sudden to be like, da, 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 I'm all powerful and I get my way and I'm going to run through and blaze new trails. It doesn't happen like that because Saturn is in Pisces. And Saturn represents structure and discipline. And this Saturn being in Pisces is asking us to be more structured and disciplined in the ways of Pisces. What is that, though? There's so much to Pisces. Most of us, when we see Pisces energy, we're just seeing a mirror. When we look at the top of the ocean, we see a reflection of the sky. We see a reflection of ourselves. Most of us are not even aware, like, of all that Pisces is. Someone introduced me to a part of the shore that I had not explored before, and the there are these little holes in the rocks and the lava, zillions of them, and little life forms living in there that you can see with the naked eye. There is an entire universe, galaxy, multiverse happening just below the surface of the water, not to mention deeper. And Pisces rules the deepest. It's the most ancient knowledge. We're talking like the ancient knowledge like the Egyptians had, that was way advanced for human civilization, or where human civilization was aware of knowledge being when they started recording history after the libraries in, what was that, Alexandria were burnt way back when. Um, there are times in history where we have been advanced and then we have like lost knowledge and lost information. So Pisces holds like even knowledge that we have lost. And it's not all old. Like, it's not just because it's old doesn't mean it's not advanced. It could be quite advanced depending on where we are in our humanity and where we are in our evolutionary patterns as a whole. So Saturn being in Pisces, what are we? Saturn has to do with discipline and structure. What are we to be more disciplined and structured around? I mean, what can we say to that? There's in anything. The sky's the limit. So one of the things that comes to my mind immediately is I used to have friends that were postdoctorate physicists. And we would have reoccurring conversations about um, Earth being, or reality being what we make it, but not just like that old army commercial, be all that you can be. It's more, be not your life in the army. It's not like that. It is, but it isn't. It's like, um, it doesn't have to be sacrificial. um, Pisces is all about sacrifice, but it's about dreams too. It's about, it can, if you can dream it up, it can be. Um, and it's about disciplining yourself in regards to that. So because all these planets are at really high degrees, and we know that the entire Earth is going to be going through a huge structural shift, this is the time that isn't, it's imperative to be practicing your meditation, your creative visualizations, however it is that you do it, however it is that you remember what you want in life and what your dreams are. And those dreams may not necessarily be based on what's happening around you right here, right now. They may be old, forgotten dreams for all you know. So, like, start writing down your dreams as soon as you wake up. Start remembering, like, what have you ever wanted? What did you ever want that you think that you can't have that maybe you actually could have? Hold on to that. That is the ring that you're holding on to. Let's imagine that you're on a carousel with all the beautiful like horses, and you're holding and you're riding the horsey on the carousel, and it's going around in a circle, and there's a hook and you've got a ring because you grabbed that dream that you remembered, and you're going to hold on to that as you go around that carousel, and you're going to toss it, and it's going to hit that target. It's going to make it through that hole. And that is what you're doing with this Piscean energy. You are holding on to what your dream is and what you believe. This is at a really high degree. And so that means it's affecting the world as a whole. And so that what that means is it has a lot to do with faith. And so those of us who have the most, collectively, those of us who have the most faith in a particular thing and the most belief in a particular thing, that's the way that things are going to go. Um, So here's an example, because we also have scorpionic energy coming, and Scorpio is that liminal space between life and death, and it's that birth, that rebirth, and that churning, and it can go into a downward spiral if you're not careful. There goes the crow. Little distraction. I got a little crow friend that has been a friend for a long time, but we made up, and they were gone for a while. Now they're back, so it's like they keep coming to the window. Okay, so back to what I was saying. I was talking about, watch out. We've got Scorpio energy coming in, and Scorpio is so hot. Oh man, Scorpionic energy is just so sexy. That Scorpio Taurus, like, that just so, yum. Okay, so focus. So we've got, what was I talking about? Oh, okay. So here's the example. Let's say you have been part of the school of knowledge that um, capitalism, for example, anybody who has spent time in college, um, especially like in liberal colleges, you've heard it talked about, like eventually capitalism is going to top out, and then what happens, right? So that's kind of like where we're at right now. We're like, okay, like, um you know do the people get anything? Like, we're kind of like that's sort of the victimy Piscean energy that we have been like coming out of a little bit through the Pisces season, but it's still there. It's the shadow Pisces, it's the nightmare, right? So let's say you've always been like, okay, there's going to come a point in time where the trickle down system doesn't work anymore. And then what's going to happen? So that's been the narrative of the dream, of the nightmare scape, whatever. But let's say you also like to watch hopeful Hallmark shows or Disney Channel shows that have happy endings, or sci-fi shows where there's these amazing technological advancements that have solved the problems of Earth. So there's another part of you that has had like hope and faith and likes to dream. So one part is left brain. The idea that the trickle down is doesn't always work. Well, that's like left brain. It's static, it's stationary, it is the way that it is. According to math as we know it, this is how it happens eventually. But then the other part is right brain, and the right brain has to do with the unlimited possibilities. So Saturn there is telling us, like, get disciplined with, whether it's just something as simple as believing in unlimited possibilities, working to your best and whatever it is that you want, or whether it's specifically like, what you want, so keep thinking about that and stop thinking about that person who is disrespectful to you, who you like cut off and you won't give any energy to. Stop giving energy to that and start thinking about that thing that you would prefer to think about. Stop thinking about the thing that requires the self-sacrifice and move into that Aries energy that is about the self. So that's where we're at, and that's how we find the balance. That's the how we find the balance and the harmony that Earth is all about right now, with Earth being in Libra. And that's how we find, that's the wisdom that this old Piscean heart energy has to bestow upon the Pisces mental energy, with the Venus in retrograde in Pisces. That's the energy that the wise one has to give from the heart, from Venus, to the Mercury in Aries. That is the wisdom. It is to hold on to your dream, hold on to it like a ring on that carousel that you're going to throw and aim and get into the pot to get that thing. Don't forget it, and the ways that we do that, yeah, that can be on a worldwide scale. That looks like, it can look like religion and dogma, but it doesn't have to, because on a worldwide scale, this is a time more than ever since the 20s that people have had this awareness that there can be something else other than the old way of doing things that required self sacrifice, even self sacrifice on a wide scale. So, right now, Pluto being in Aquarius, they're saying, the last time Pluto's in Aquarius was during revolutionary wars and things like that. But we're at a time in humanity where we can not only have faith and believe that we don't have to uh, all go to arm and arm combat like impetuous babies and baby humans. Like, we've been on this planet long enough to know that we can find other ways, and it doesn't have to be sacrificing a lot of humanity to do so. But you know, it requires like knowing. It requires knowing how and knowing what, and the people who make the things happen tend to be the people who have the most money, and there's only a few people in the world who have the most money, right? Like, I don't know who they are, but I know there's like just a few, and they have it all. And what they believe is possible for the future, and what they believe, like their vision, if they know that they can get together and share a vision, that like it is like that's the time for there to be discipline around that. But then there's a lot of people that, you know, have money that aren't the top few people in the world, and altogether those people have a lot of money too. But this isn't about money. Like, this is about belief. It's about meditation. It's about what you focus on. This is something else. This is something else. So, anyway, I don't know a whole lot, but that's what I know, or what I think I know. And that's where we're at right now. And I thank you for listening. If this reached you, I know it was meant to be. I know I was supposed to do this today, even though like I lost my voice and it's like one of the first days of it being back, but I wanted to do this. And yeah, I hope that it helps, and enjoy this eclipse. It's a time for a reset. And um, if this eclipse brings up more awareness of how you felt victimized, or how things aren't quite as balanced as you might want them to be, don't worry. You still have a chance to make them as balanced as you want them to be. So go for it and make that happen. Right? Enjoy this Aries season.